Hello YouTube, Wise Steve here, coming at you today on a Wednesday. It is the 1st of February, coming at you with a Marquee Matchup series. First one from Milan, really excited about that, but just going to be like a regular Marquee Matchup, although I just got settled into my place in Milan, going to be here for 4 months. I've said that in every single one of my videos. Sorry if you guys watching, it sounds repetitive, but what is happening is I've been getting acclimated, making friends, so I have not been able to invest in these players very much. However, I did sit down, checked out all of the matchups for this weekend, and think I have a few good ideas for some investments that you guys can do now or later in the week because there are a ton of rivalries next week. This is going to be kind of a bigger episode, so I'm actually just going to get right into it. Of course, I'm going to give you the four main, but then I usually give you a couple sleepers, but I have a few sleepers, or I'm just going to alert you to some of these other derbies or rivalries going on around the world that could be interesting. EA recently with these freaking marquee matchups have really been pissing me off, man. Last week was a little rough. I think I went like 1 for 4 or something. It's just been a little rough considering that they've been inconsistent, and at first they were pretty consistent, but people were making a lot of coins. But now it seems like they're going out of their way to choose really just obscure matchups that not everybody really knows or just are not really that important of games. I wish I could give you guys some like explicit examples from last week because there were a couple. The Fulham one, it's almost as if they had missed out on the opportunities from the week prior and then are circling back to this week to like try to correct it or just screw those people that panic sold all those cards. But now, that was my little rant about EA. So now we're going to get into the first rivalry, and we're going to go to the BPL, and it's going to be Chelsea, and you can pick up a bunch of these players for relatively cheap. Honestly, even though a lot of people know that this is a huge game, you can still go out there and get your players for less than 900 coins, around 850, and of course you want to look at the non-rares like Moses, but you're going to go with Chelsea versus, and we're going to move on over to Arsenal. Both of these teams are from London and have some good players that you can snap up. I'm just going to put some bids on these Ospinas. This could be one where it is going to be a nation requirement, but at the same time, there will also probably be a rating requirement, and it might be one of those EA introduced last week that you needed to have a minimum of 2 from each team, and that could be something that bites a lot of people in the butt. However, if you're trying to do these, I always just try to give you guys tips for both if you're trying to invest or if you're trying to actually just get ahead and see which ones people think so that you can build them, or they build the SBCs. So I know that when you guys do this, you mostly like to buy in bulk, and so like I said, I would definitely recommend buying in bulk because then that means you'll be able to have some to trade with if you make some profit, and as well just complete the SBC to get those packs. So now we're going to move to the Bundesliga here. We're going to go to the end. So this is the one that I think is going to be in the main. Of course, you guys thought and saw that the Bayern there, but I'm going to touch on this one. I think Dormestad, I believe that's how you say it. Again, like I said, I always am open to people correcting me in the comment section below about correct pronunciations. I always like to get that stuff right. You got Dortmundstadt, and you got some really good players here, really good non-rares, and this is definitely one that people aren't monitoring. But with the way that EA has been conducting business lately, I believe that going about these marquee matchups, I believe that Dortmundstadt versus Frankfurt is definitely a rivalry that is in the Bundesliga that they would pick just because it's off topic, and it's side stream, as I would like to say, or whatever, because it's not the mainstream one where Bayern Munich is playing Schalke. I was going to touch on that in the sleepers, but I'm just going to get it out now. I'll circle back to that when I do the sleepers, but this is a really good pick. Frankfurt is doing really well in the Bundesliga as well. And there's a lot of solid, low-rated non-rares that you can pick up for around that 350 to even 300 coins to really make yourself some good profit. So now we are going to move to the Liga NOS. This is a big matchup in Portugal, and I definitely think this will feature. If it doesn't feature, I might have to do on a rant, and I don't usually do rants, but we got Porto versus Sporting. Just going to give you guys a little show here. Again, I think this is one they like. When they do the Portuguese, they like to do the Portuguese one where you have to have X amount of Portuguese players, actually. And so that could be something that entertains your mind. So you might want to, in order to really just get the most out of investment, maybe you pick up can pick up some Portuguese players that play in the league as well. in the Liga Nos as well. But also, I mean, I say that and watch, it's going to be one where they're going to have to do national. You're going to have X amount of nationalities, and so I'm going to feel stupid. But you never know. That's what the predictions are all about. And lastly, for the main one, we're going to go to Italy. I actually went to an Inter game last night. I'm going to try to get a little video log up. It was amazing. Loved the atmosphere. It was my first European soccer match, and it was Inter versus Lazio. Unfortunately, Lazio won. I mean, I am a big Fiorentina fan, but I am in Milan right now, so of course I was cheering for the Inter men, but they lost. It was 2-1. Really good game. Hilarious. There was a couple red cards. Just some good stuff. But Inter plays Juventus. Geez, I am just really babbling on in some of these videos. But Inter plays Juventus. This is definitely a matchup that I think could go with a rating and then X amount. Hopefully it's X amount of nations, but if it's not, make sure you're looking out for the X amount of Italians, because this is actually considered the Derby d'Italia, or the Derby, of course, is an English word, but you might want to look out because this is one where it's the two most successful teams in Italy. This is why this derby or rivalry exists. So this could be one where you have to do X amount of Italian players, and Juventus is tough for that because then you want to look out for Storaro and Rugani. Those are the cheap Italians on that team. Of course, you can maybe try to pick up a couple other. I don't know if there's any rare. Yeah, Rugani is the rare one. Storaro is the only non-rare. So maybe pick up a couple of those guys. I have a couple of them in my club already. But then again, so I'm going to go back through the four main ones that I think are going to be Chelsea versus Arsenal, Frankfurt versus Dortmund, Juventus versus Inter, and Porto versus Sporting. Those are my four main ones that I would invest mostly in. But now we're going to stay in Italy for a sleeper, and that's going to be Fiorentina versus Roma. I'm going to kind of just go through these sleepers kind of fast because you guys can get the gist of it. Just show you what I got here. I mean, Sportiello just transferred over. That could be a solid pickup, but he could be a solid option. But Fiorentina versus Roma is a rivalry. Two really solid teams. I mean, I love Fiorentina, so I guess hopefully they feature, but again, there's a couple of really nice non-rare options on both these teams. Sorry, I was just kind of going a little faster. I can take a second, but you see here, you got some really good ones. And this is one that could go well. You could invest in Serie A as well because of the Juventus one, so you, just in case, they won't lose their value too much, so you have a little bit of a cushion. We're going to go back to the Bundesliga. I mentioned Bayern, and I'm just going to show you guys real quick the players you can pick up for less than 500 coins. Bayern versus and then we're just going to move to Schalke. This is a big rivalry, an inter-regional rivalry, I believe, in Germany. So be on the lookout for that. This video is kind of creeping up in time. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Some of my followers said that they like the videos around that 10-minute mark. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, what the ideal time would be. But now I'm going to throw in a couple obscure ones. These are kind of tough to judge because both of these, we're going to the championship versus the championship, English championship, which had a matchup featured last week. And EA, it seems they don't like to duplicate it, but this is a rivalry in England, and it is Huddersfield versus Leeds. I mean, this could be one where you just pick up a couple players for 150 coins, silvers preferably, the non-rare silvers preferably, because you can pick those up for 150 to 250 coins. But then when this actually comes out, their buy nows will be closer to 500 coins, so that's where you'll be able to make a decent amount of profit. And of course, Leeds United has a lot of good cheap gold players. Look at that, you can pick up these for 400, 450. That's not bad at all. Maybe even try to pick up some late at night. But that is a rivalry, so I'm just definitely going to get that out there. And in the last rivalry, we're going to go to the Hyundai A-League, which I do not think this will feature. I want to just get it out there because this could be very profitable for people, although this would be like the third squad builder they do in a row that features Australian or Hyundai A-League players. But Melbourne Victory does play Melbourne City. This did feature, like I said, or Melbourne Victory featured prominently last week, so you might just want to take this one with a grain of salt, but it is a rivalry. Just wanted to throw it out there so I can cover all the bases. So I'm going to go back through the sleepers one more time. So it's Bayern versus Schalke, which could definitely be a main one, Fiorentina versus Roma, and then Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory, and Leeds United versus Huddersfield Town. But if I was going to suggest a little tips, I'd invest heavily in some Bundesliga non-rares. And then you might also want to watch out for the African Cup of Nations. Their final game is this weekend, and their last game is played on Friday, right around when the Squad Builder Challenge goes out. So I actually don't think that I'll be able to squeak in, but you never know. There could be just a Squad Builder Challenge on the African Cup of Nations itself. Anyways, we get the Matemi Gomes looking good there. Two just terrible lone players. Could be fun to try out, but just terrible lone players. Down here in this corner, you see they've got these man of the matches. I would love to get that Son. He's going to be going for absolutely ridiculous amounts of coins. But like I was saying, let's see if we can pick up some players from the squad or from the matchups that I said we're gonna feature. We get Per Mertesacker from Arsenal. Perfect. There we go. That's one. We get Arsenal. We get an AC Milan player, which could be useful. This Willems player might sell because of the other stuff. I'm just gonna, like I said, gonna just store all these guys in the club. Just scroll through here. We get some good consumables. We just surpassed that 10-minute mark. I'm sorry that my videos have been long, but like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below on the video length. And as always, leave in the comment section below if you think I missed any marquee matchups. It's just been really tough to predict lately. I've been away from the scene, so I might have slipped up and missed a couple things. We get Tyson there. I love playing with him. He is not good for making money. Oh, we get a Moses. Could be very lucrative this weekend. And we get a Rodwell that could be interesting. There we go. There's an Australian player that might feature as well. You know, just trying to make loose connections. But we're just going to go through here some more. Just going to store those in the club. I'm going to quick sell Lasonga. Really interesting player. But that was the video. Going to wrap it up again. So now the four main ones again. Chelsea versus Arsenal. Frankfurt versus Dortmund. Juve versus Inter. And Porto versus Sporting. Let me know what you guys think. As always, like and subscribe. And most importantly, stay wise.